Welcome to Leveraging Inspiration, the Inspired Patent Podcast, where we explore the world of innovation, creativity, and intellectual property. I'm your host, Wayne Carroll, and I'm excited to bring you insights and stories from inventors, entrepreneurs, and experts in the field. Now, before we get started, I want to make it clear that while I'm a patent attorney, the information I provide on this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not providing legal advice. Nothing in this podcast should be construed as creating an attorney-client relationship. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's dive into the world of patents and innovation. Join me on this journey as we explore the power of inspiration and how to turn your ideas into a reality. This podcast will have 4 episodes that first 4 will cover from IP confusion to IP clarity, understanding what inspirations can and cannot be protected. This is season 1 of 13 or 52 podcasts that will be delivered over 13 weeks. And this podcast, we are going to cover why you would want to protect intellectual property and how to safeguard your inspiration while sharing them with the world. I've heard this story many times. An inventor tells me that they had an idea, they knew it was a great idea, but they didn't do anything with it. And years later, they saw the idea in some company that appeared to be really leveraging it and really scaling their business based on this idea that they had. And they feel like they missed their opportunity. Sometimes that opportunity is missed because you don't know what to do. It seems overwhelming, and that can be understandable. It can be overwhelming, and the world of intellectual property law can seem very daunting and complex. Well, we're going to go ahead and simplify that for you and help you understand one step at a time how to go forward and how to safeguard your intellectual property. And when you have your intellectual property safeguarded, then you can leverage that and invest in it. Without it protected, you don't have what you need to be able to invest in it and let other people invest with you in your intellectual property. So what is intellectual property? Oftentimes people talk about intellectual property rights when they're talking about patents, trademark rights, copyrights. Those are actually the rights. But what is the property? For example, your house is a property. That's what you use, you live in, it provides you value. So your house is the property. And what says that you own that property? What are the rights? The rights are going to be in a deed. The same with a car. A car is going to have a title. So higher value property is typically recorded somewhere, some way that you can prove that you own it. And the same can be true with intellectual property, and typically is. So what is the property itself? What provides the value in your business that you want to have those documents to prove that you own it and other people can't use it? Well, the property itself is your brand, is one of them. When someone interacts with your brand, either by buying something or your advertising information you put out there, so they're interacting with your brand, and that needs to be something that only refers to you. If they're confused of which company it refers to, it's failing as a brand, and it won't be protectable. So, for example, if you have a brand of we sell desks, and when somebody searches for we sell desks, they're going to find all kinds of people that just say in their marketing, we sell desks, and it won't be a good brand for them to find you and only you and be clear that they have found the source that either they bought from before, or they got a referral to, or they have seen some advertising and say, I want that. So your brand is very valuable, and you want to be able to protect that. That's the property. Another property is inventions, whether it's something you create for other people to buy a product, or whether that's something you use in your business to run your business, create something that makes it faster, better, easier, maybe a process that will make it easier for you to produce something. There was a time when aluminum was extremely expensive, and people bought aluminum like they bought gold. And then someone came up with a process to make aluminum so cheaply that those people who had invested in bars of aluminum, they lost all the value, because that one person, whoever invented that process, completely disrupted the market and changed the value of aluminum and made it so that now we use aluminum in all kinds of things, where before it was this precious metal considered because it was very hard to refine. So that's an example of a process in a business. And that process was the value. And it was, if it was protected by patents, I haven't researched this one particularly, but if it was protected by patents, then the patents protect that value. But the value itself is in the process. You can get a patent on something that isn't valuable, and then the patent isn't valuable. You need the value in what it is that gives you or your customers value. That's what is the value in your business. Another thing that has value is creative works. So when you have, it needs to be an original creative work that you created or someone in your company, and you can own that. It might be a book, a manual. You might be selling books or videos or courses. Your website can be a creative work that you own. Any art, videos, even emails. For example, you could have a series of emails that you use to market your business or even deliver value. Someone may pay you to get access to a set of emails that guides them through a journey, a transformation. And that can be the value in your business. So that can be the property. So we're looking at what is property that you can protect in your business, not necessarily the property rights. We're going to get to that and cover it in a lot of detail. But right now, what is the property that you can protect, that you can make sure is exclusively yours? And then there's really four categories: the brands, the inventions, the content, creative works, and then the fourth one is things that don't fall into any of those categories. It can be a database of whether you've arranged that database in a certain way or what it contains. For example, if it contains your list of customers, or even the list of people that you've X'd out that you don't want as your customers, that can be valuable. Plans for doing things, your plans for marketing, for growing your business, your plans to scale, plans of where you want a new location, can be checklists. Those are a lot of things that aren't usually protectable by copyrights or trademark or patent, but it can be valuable property in your business and you can protect it. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and write down what it is that you see in your business based on what we've talked about. What are your brands? What are your secrets? What is it? And what products have you launched? Or have you created products that are, if you have information products or creative work products that you sell, definitely write those down. Now, I also want you to take 5 minutes to go through a mental exercise to identify one thing. So imagine you hired a CEO and they worked for your company for 3 years. And then you learn that they are leaving to go work for your competitor. What is the one thing you do not want your former CEO to take with him or her or to use? So write this down. This knowledge or system is likely protectable intellectual property if you protect it properly, if you take the steps to protect it. And we're going to go through those. Now, with that exercise, if you're drawing a blank of what that might be, you can look at the show notes, and I've got some examples in there. But I want you to first just kind of reach inside yourself and see, what is it? See if you can identify it, because you're more likely than for me giving you suggestions. The suggestions are great, but if you can identify your own secrets or things that you don't want others to use, you don't want your competitor to have and take with, and have your key employees take with you. So these are, as a recap, the things that are property in your business are your brands, your inventions or processes, your new products. Those are property. Your creative works, whether or not you sell them, and usually we'll talk about this further, of you want to protect the ones, spend the most effort to protect the ones that are going to make you money or protect what you make. And then there's things that are secrets that you can keep secrets and keep your competitors from using. So I will be back with more in the next episode, and we'll continue to talk about intellectual property and how you can leverage inspiration, and that when you are inspired with ideas, that you can protect those so that you can invest them and make them, it's more likely that they will become a reality if you can protect them and invest in them. And that's the best for you and for the world. I'm Wayne Carroll with the Leveraging Inspiration, the Inspired Patent Podcast.